Next, post-negotiation after the inspection period. What do? You have roughly 30 days, 40 days post inspection period, depending on the purchase contract. What are the next steps? I think you need to make sure that your financing it comes to an end, meaning that you're able to get the loan. So how does that look?
Yeah, so I always say in purchasing a home, at least in Arizona, there are 3 rounds of negotiating. You have the initial negotiations with the purchase contract and the terms, and then you have the inspection period where you go back to the seller if you're on the buy side, and you try to negotiate there depending on whatever issues come up in the inspection period. And then thirdly, you have the appraisal. The appraisal, a lot of times you're dealing with appraisal shortfalls in a market that's appreciating rapidly. Sometimes the shortfall could be with the actual appraiser himself because it is a subjective value. Other times, the seller could be overpriced, and you may have known that going into it. But I try and negotiate there. And sometimes the buyer ends up having to bridge the delta entirely. Typically, I've seen some sort of a compromise between the two.
That's why you pay your agent. That's the whole point of this stuff. Make sure that you hold these people accountable. That's why you have a good agent, okay? Additional on the financing pieces, when you're buying this home, we're not lenders, but we've done it a few times. In the interim, as you go through this purchase contract, your lender is going to ask for W-2s, which are your tax statements, your bank statements, letters of recommendation potentially, also a letter from your employer. Your lender wants to make sure that you can actually pay the bill for this property that you're buying. So see that financing to completion, and then all of a sudden you go to close and you sign for that new house. Okay, that is all for how to buy a house. I know is a whopper. What we got here is get pre-approved. Understand how much you can afford before you go buy something that you can't afford. That's super important. We talked about location. We talked about finding the right agent. We talked about the purchase contract. We talked about the agent representing your best interest. We talked about the inspection period. This is your time to look at that property and say, this, and this are all wrong. Hey, agent, can you go to the buyer or the seller and say, hey, can you offer me a credit? Can you give me some cash back? Okay. We talked about the renegotiation with that step, and then seeing the financing to end, making sure that the lender has all the documents. And we will actually walk you step by step in another video series on what it looks like to actually get banked to buy that new home. So we're here to make this place better. We're here to teach you, and we look forward to seeing you out there on social media, and if not, maybe a one-on-one. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.